But as you grow and you do the self work and you get into, who God really created all of us to be, and knowing that we are all equal, we just have to tap into and remember why we came here, because we are all, spiritual beings just having a human experience.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Benrolins Blueprint podcast. I'm your host, Ben Rollins. I want them. Today's going to be a great episode. We have a beautiful lady in the house. She's a talk show host. She's a best-selling author and a serial entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me. Welcome the one and only Miss Candice White. Hey, Miss Candice, how you doing today?
Hey, I like that intro.
Oh, my God.
It was official.
I was kind of nervous a little bit. Like, oh, yeah, now that you said it.
It's good.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
How was life like growing up, buddy?
How was life going on? We're getting straight to it, huh? Okay.
Yeah, we're just getting straight into it.
No chaser.
I just want to know who this beautiful lady is.
Okay, so as far as what, growing up, just
growing up.
in a household, school, like what?
In the household in school.
Okay, so I come from a single parent household.
Yep.
My mom, she held it down for me and my sisters, my brothers.
Yeah.
I'm actually the youngest, and I'm like the only dark skinned child that she has.
Really?
So I dealt a lot with that growing up, as far as in the time that I grew up in, being dark was not accepted. It's like the even with the media today, they picture this light skin or fair skin is better narrative. And so, we would play hide and go seek, and people would tease me and say, oh, I can only see you because you're smiling. I can only see your teeth, or call me French toast, tar, grease monkey, and stuff like that. Not bullied. I was never bullied, okay? But that's like what I dealt with growing up, which I am appreciative of, because it contributed to who I am today. My mom, she was a police officer. She was a sergeant, actually. And I got to watch what the job would do to her, and just all the stress and stuff that it would cause, and how she would be. And, my father, he was around, but he wasn't. Tell me he's coming to pick me up, he don't come. You know what I mean? My mama got me dressed for nothing.
Oh.
Rest his soul. But I will say, like, as I got older, we developed our own relationship. It's a lot of us. My father, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
He was spreading it around.
Yeah, okay. It's a whole lot of us, you understand? And stuff like that. So, but when I got older, we developed our own relationship. And I would call and talk to him. Believe it or not, when I would get into relationships, my father is who would meet everybody first. Yeah.
Wow.
I would take him to meet everybody. I don't know why. It just happened that way. My father was really a lot like me. Very free-spirited, speak his mind, don't know what to say, liked or not liked. And I picked that up a lot. Also, I got that from my aunt too, rest in peace to them too. And stuff like that. So, like I said, we formed our own relationship, and I like that. And so I would take him, people to meet him and things like that, just because he wasn't judgmental. He wasn't a judgmental person.
Wow.
And I could just fully be myself.
Wow.
Versus, you're female, you're home, you can't say this, you shouldn't think like this. Women are to be cute and pretty, and can't, or as they say, kids are to be seen, not heard. Versus with my father, I had that voice. Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. And growing up in that environment, did you have any aspiration?
Aspiration to do what?
What was your dream? Now, one day I'm going to become this.
Oh, I had like a bunch of dreams. So I wanted to become, believe it or not, I wanted to be a marriage counselor. I wanted to be a marriage counselor, a doctor, and a lawyer. But I think that a lawyer overrode all of that, and the marriage counselor and stuff like that.
And
those were my dreams.
those were your dreams.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, you deviated from that dream?
Yeah, it was like, that was just something that I did. And I said, I became a teenage mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my daughter at 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had my daughter at 17. So I had to like grow up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Which was good. I definitely appreciate that. Now she's,
I'm glad you brought that up. I just wanted to stay on that for a second because sometimes people go through stuff like that and they don't know how to deal with it. So you had your daughter at 17 years old.
Yeah.
When you had that experience, did you feel like, oh, I'm responsible for this, and I got to make sure my child feel as if she's really welcome to this world?
Ooh, let me tread on how I want to answer that because I don't have the popular opinion.
No,
and things like that.
No,
so
you're free
they
to talk.
didn't eat me up.
No, you're free. You're free.
So I didn't know anything about being a parent.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we forget there is no rule book and handbook on how to be a parent.
Yeah.
We all can just mimic what we see and just always try to do better. And sometimes when we go against that, as far as not trying to be or have our children experience what we've experienced, we can sometimes create a monster. You either go with it and be good, or you just too lenient and your kids are just out freaking crazy. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what it was to be a parent. I didn't know what that meant. All I knew is I was in love with her father. You know what I mean? And that's all I knew. It was like I loved her father a whole lot. We were together for 17 years. And I had this little person I had to take care of. It wasn't until I would say it wasn't until she was like 11 or 12 when I was like, oh, you're really a mother. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, but it all depends on when you have those reflective moments because we all grow at different phases and stages in our lives. So it wasn't really until then that I was like, oh, I have this other human being that I'm responsible for. My decisions, what I'm going to do, they're going to be able to, she's going to see it. She's going to grow up. She's going to mimic it. So it wasn't until I began to make that change within myself, which was a choice to make, that I began to understand, like, no, we are the first examples that our children see. And whether they want to or not, they're going to grow up and they're going to imitate that, attract that, get that, become that. So I was like, I had to get it together so that I could be a good role model for her. Most of her life I was a police officer.
Wow.
So I did that for 9.5 years. And as a police officer, for me, it was like a very demanding job. You're never home. So she was with her father a lot. Yeah, she was with her dad a lot. And that's why when our relationship ended, it impacted her so much because she was a daddy's girl. So with not being home, it was now you're able to pay for all the daycare, and she's getting all the nice, and she's getting her hair and her nails done. At 4 or 5, 6, she's getting her hair done and nails done like every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, she's getting like 8, 9, 10 pairs of shoes, getting clothes. So it became where I began to buy the material things to make up for the fact that I wasn't there to have the time. So when everything changed, I had nothing but time. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's pretty deep. And I'm glad you brought this up. And I really want to go deeper into this because, when you look at the landscape of like the Black community, you're going to realize that the dads are not home. So how was her father? Was he supportive, or he was just like, oh, I was not ready for this?
Woo! That man.
Let's go.
That man, okay? What you said on the way to Octavia? He's a good man, Savannah. No, dang, I want to see how I want to answer that. He was a great father while we were together. He fell off when we were no longer together.
Wow.
So my daughter had her father into her life every day until she was 12. Yeah, so she had him. He didn't know what it was like to be a father either.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older and I'm learning about different things and getting more in tune and having a better understanding of a lot of things, I'm able to see all the things I missed back then versus now. Whereas though today, if he was to walk past me today and wanted to date and things like that, I wouldn't dare touch him. You know what I'm saying? It's just because, we grow. and you learn things. Knowledge is power, and once you know something, you cannot unknow it. You can't unlearn it once you know.
Wow.
You can choose to be a fool, but that's a choice. So he was an active father. He had her. She was with him. You didn't see her without him. It was to the point where everyone would always be like, she's with her father. Like I would have to call him sometimes like, what size shoe she wear? This, that, and the third. And I remember one of my coworkers at the time, she was like, would tease me like, you're such a deadbeat. Usually the father's calling the mom, asking what size shoe, and it's you calling saying, what size shoe she wear again?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So would you say when you had your baby girl, were you naive before then? Or you were really like up to par mentally?
Well, I've always been grown. I've always been very mature for my age, can have a conversation. I mean, I remember being 17, 18, and 19 years old with friends that were like 40, 30 plus that would ask me for advice or just say, well, what do you think about this? Or listen to me talk. I remember one lady was like, I worked on the floor with a bunch of older women. And I remember one time, one of them heard me talking to one of my friends. And of course it was about like men and relationships. And she was like, when she saw me, she was like, come here. I was like, what? She was like, at this time, she's like, I want to say like 39, maybe 40, 42. And she's like, girl, I'll be listening to you when you be talking. And I be saying, that girl knows some stuff. She said, the little advice you be giving the tips, I'll be like, I need to do that. So, at a young age, I've always been aware, a relationship for me, it was, I think we all do it. We want our children to have what we didn't. So it was like by any means necessary, I was going to make sure my daughter grew up in a 2-parent household, not knowing that just because you can have 2 parents present doesn't mean that it's a healthy household. It doesn't mean that just because you have a 2-parent household that your children are going to grow up and be, A1 scholars and make the best decisions and not fall off. When really I think we forget that people have free will and make their own choices. That's why you could have 4 or 5 different children grow up in the same house and every child would have a different experience or perspective from what their childhood was like. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say I was naive. If anything, I was naive and gullible for a dude. You know what I mean? For her father.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Just because I had a baby with him. You know what I mean? I met him when I was 12. You know what I mean? I met him when I was 12. We kind of like got into everything when I was like 14. So it was like he had went off and to do what he was doing and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't know that I was naive. Honestly, I didn't know that I was naive. I didn't know that I wasn't making the best choices. I didn't know what a red flag was. I didn't know. So it wasn't until I was like 28 when I discovered all of that stuff and was like, okay, I have to fix this. Let me heal me and just be the best version for my daughter.
Wow.
I'm
really glad you were already matured at a really young age. And I want to assume that it was not a smooth ride.
Oh, no.
You had a lot of challenges. I want to really come to those challenges because, sometimes, like at 17 years old, you're not ready for a lot of things about life. And when that hits you, like, oh my God, where should I start? Where am I going to begin? Is this going to be a good journey or I want to give up or something? You're going to have a lot of emotions coming together at the same time. Yeah. So how was it like going, like from a mental perspective? Were you like, oh, I'm done with this. I regret everything.
Well, the good thing is I had my daughter. I was pregnant my junior year in high school. So I graduated. My daughter was 1. So my last year of high school was the hardest, just not having a babysitter, not knowing anything about daycare, not having any money. Her father's the only provider. He's working. He's paying for everything. Like he would get paid, give me his check, and I would just do what I needed to do with it. But I was missing a lot of school. So I wasn't going to not graduate because academically I sucked. It was my attendance. So I will say my high school principal played a huge impact on my life. I tell him this all the time when I would see him. But honestly, if it wasn't really for my principal, and I just think about, how much hell I used to get at man. From 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, I used to give that man hell.
Whoa.
But at the same time, I was the only child that graduated that he cried. I remember that day like it was yesterday, and we talked about my graduation. Can I say his name on here?
You're free.
His Mr. Juan Stepter. Okay, so if you happen to see this one day, you definitely had a huge impact on my life.
Wow.
He went and he was an advocate for me because I suck at math. So it was like this algebra class that was just kicking my butt. And and I had this old school teacher and she just was not hearing it. You know what I mean? So he went and he talked to her. I was like, what is it we could do to make sure that she graduates? And I just remember going to his office. And at this time, a lot of people don't know this, but for at least like 4 months of my daughter's life, she didn't live with me. I sent her to go live with her father so that I would be able to finish high school.
Wow.
So it was like, being a teenage mom, my mom was pissed. You know what I mean? I'm the baby. I'm having a baby. My mom was so pissed. And I just remember at those times where it was like, I don't even want to say she didn't want to help me, but I think that a lot of times, like culture and society has placed us to have to be strong and have like this hard front, with our kids. And is any mother's worst nightmare is your daughter getting pregnant, So it was like she wanted me to go through those tough times. I appreciate now, but she wanted me to go through that. She didn't really help at all. I didn't have a babysitter. It was strictly me and her father. My sister, she would keep her sometimes. She would keep her for me sometimes, but it was like it wasn't something she wanted to do. So sometimes she couldn't keep her. So it was like the support that I feel like that I should have gotten, I didn't get, but I got it from her father. So that played a big part on that, as well as for me, just go ahead and get it and not rely on anybody. So I went to my principal and I told him, listen, I just sent my daughter to go live with her father, and I'm not going to graduate. So did I do that for nothing? You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't have just made this decision, right, to be a mother away from her child, voluntarily, just to fail. It's like, oh, hell no. So he ended up going and he went and he talked to the math teacher. I don't know what they discussed. I don't know what happened, but I graduated. I graduated, and Mr. Stepter, he saved my life. He made a huge impact at an early age, and we talked about it after I called him after graduation, and I was like, I saw you crying. And he laughed. He was like, oh, no, it just was something in my eye. And he just was like, no, I'm so proud. Like, you touched me to really see me from being a little tater tot, and finally making it through that finish line. I guess you could say in that moment, he was my father,
Wow.
and was proud and was crying and was excited to see, like, my girl did it.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And would you say that experience molded you and made you emotionally strong and mentally like capable of handling any challenge that arises in future?
Yeah, I've always been a strong person. Like I said, I never got bullied, but I didn't like the bullies. I always, had a voice and would speak up for everybody. Yep. That's something I'm going to do, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, how sometimes when they say everything doesn't need to be said, I've learned that over the years. But if something's not right, it's not right, and I have to speak up. I can't see someone being mistreated or, and just not say anything. Like, you're wrong for that, and just bring that up to the forefront. So I've always been a strong person. I was born that way.
Wow.
I was always born a leader. I was never a follower. What's that? But yeah, that's why I think some people, you either born with it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something I'm just glad that I was born with. But my mom played a part in that as well, because I got to see, like, growing up, I never, seen my mother cry. I don't know what struggle was like. We didn't, we always had food. We were always traveling the country.
Wow.
At an early age, we were always going out to dinner. We always trying different foods, traveling the country. I had everything that I needed. I don't know what it's like to have, my lights cut off as a child and no food in the refrigerator. And I learned that some of my friends had those experiences. Wow. Some of those experiences came later in life, from just making piss poor decisions.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that. So ultimately, I had a great childhood. I had a great childhood. I can honestly say that. My mom, I get my heart from my mother. My mom has a heart of gold. She can be mean as a rattlesnake, but she means well. You know what I mean? And that one of my friends, he used to say, "Candice, you like a pit bull puppy." And I'm like, "What is that?" "Well, I'm like I don't pit bull." He was like, "You are. You like a pit bull, but you really, you're really a puppy inside. Like if people get to know you, like." I was like, "Well, whatever. I gotta be this pit bull because people be playing with me, So yeah, shout outs to my mother for that.
Oh wow, your mom sound like someone who is really special. Sometimes when something happen like that, a lot of parents are gonna be like, "Oh, let me treat my baby right. Let me pamper her." And the problem with that is you're not really going to know that you made a mistake or something, and you're not going to go through that experience, and that experience is not going to mold you mentally.
Right.
But your mom letting you doing that stuff.
Oh, yeah. My mama tell me no fast.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only one out of her kids that she tell no.
Yeah.
Honestly. But it's not bad. Like I said, within anything, challenges in life builds character.
Yeah, it really
does. I'm kind of glad that she did tell me no, because it makes me go out here and get it on my own. Make me figure it out. Make me be better. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that experience made you emotionally strong. And you knew that, from that, I can do anything. And any challenges that arise, I know how I can handle it. And I'm capable. I got the ability to overcome this. And just talking to you today, I can really sense that you're a really confident person.
Oh, yeah.
And you go for what you want.
Absolutely.
And I got it. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you. And I know that, your voice is special. And a lot of people got to listen to you.
Yes.
So guys, please do us a favor. Share this episode with your loved one and friends because this is an epic one. Thank you very much. And I want to come back to you. If someone is watching this episode right now and they just assume they have a child or they're pregnant at 17, what will you tell that little kid?
Oh, I would tell her that you want to make me cry. I feel like you want to make me cry.
No, I don't want to make you cry. Let's go. Go for it.
I would tell him that it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Life is gonna give you hoops and hurdles, and you can spiral. Just always spiral forward. Even if you land and you fall down, land on your back, so you can always look up and get up. It's gonna be okay. Everything is as hard as you make it. But everything works if you work it. So, utilize your resources. Don't give up. Make sure that you're always striving to be better because you definitely have a life that you're responsible for now. And just think about how do you want to be? How do you want your baby or your children to remember you if you're no longer here? What would you have instilled in them? And be forgiving and understanding and have compassion for those that you may feel have wronged you. Because if they knew better, they would do better.
Wow, that's touching. Oh my God, that's a clip right there.
That's what I would say to that 17-year-old, mom.
Yeah, that's profound, And sometimes when you go through stuff, it molds you to become a better person.
Yeah.
But the moment you're going through that stuff, you don't really know if you're gonna make it or you're gonna survive.
Because you can't see through. You can't see the frost through the trees.
And it's so hard.
Absolutely.
And that's why I always say, you can never connect the dot looking forward, but you can definitely connect the dot looking backward. So when you're living that moment, you just gotta hope that somehow the dots are gonna connect in your favor.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even hard to even believe, though.
Oh, it is.
Yes, when you go through those challenges, you're like, oh my God, am I gonna make it?
Oh yeah.
Is life really worth it?
Somebody trying to be positive, you're like, I don't want to hear that. Really?
You're like, it's a hoax.
Yeah.
You're just like, no, that guy don't know what he's talking about. And I'm really glad you said that. And people watching, or if there's a lady going through that challenge you went through, she's gonna know, if Candice can do that, definitely I can.
Yeah.
And that's the whole purpose of Benrolins Blueprint. And I'm glad you're profound. I like that. So let's move forward. You started a talk show.
Yeah.
What made you start a talk show?
Candy Coated Secrets talk show. Okay.
Oh, yep.
My life changed in 2015. I lost my career as a police officer. My 17-year relationship came to an end, and just within that time, I was wronged. You know what I mean? The information regarding my situation was wrong and outlined. You know, my job didn't thoroughly investigate, you know, what happened and what occurred. And they just told this story that was so far-fetched, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. From that day forward, I vowed no job would ever fire me. I would quit first. Okay, I'm heavy on quitting and trusting God, okay? So I would quit first, but I said I wouldn't allow anybody else to tell my story. You know what I mean? So it was just like, okay, I have something to say. And then I also had a life coach, which was actually my first cousin, you know, rest in peace to her, Laverne. Shout out to her. She's my mentor, taught me everything I know. Yeah. And I remember we were having a conversation one day and she said, you know, Candice, you always use your mouth for bad. Like your mouth has always gotten you in trouble and it has gotten you out of trouble. And she just was like, and one day you're going to utilize it for good. And then a year later, I started Candy Coated Secrets.
Wow. Yeah. So what you're trying to tell me is after that experience, getting out of your job or being fired.
Being wrongfully terminated too.
Oh, being wrongfully terminated.
Yes.
You started something positive for your life.
Yeah.
I want you to walk me through that corridor before starting the talk show. And I want to know, like, what really happened with the police stuff.
Ooh.
And then
you want to get in my business.
And then we'll go into the talk show.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Y'all ready? Because it's juicy.
I like juicy too.
So I was in a 17-year relationship with my daughter's father, and he was cheating.
Oh.
So here it is. So this is the backstory. When I was 18, 19, we lived together. And he had this friend. So he tried to pitch her like she was this friend. And you know how you always get that inclination like something ain't right? Never ignore your gut. I'm telling you, never ignore it, right?
Yeah.
And I just knew. I was like, something's not right. So I'm glad you're letting me share this because this is key to it, you know?
Yes.
And you know, I went in, he was some trash. I was in love with some trash. Let's say what it is. I was in love with some trash, you know what I'm saying? At the time, he felt good. So he cheated. So we had all went out one night. She had come into my house, which was our home together. We were living together. And one night, it was like this party and I went to it and she came with us and she met us there and like she had like one of her friends with her and he was like, you're not really talking. I just sat back and observed and just watched how they, interacted, because you know when somebody wants your man. Just like when somebody wants your woman. No matter how many times he try to say no, that gut don't let you, So I didn't like it. And so he had like left his keys or something. I went back home and she just so happened to have to be the one to take him wherever they were going. He was gone for a long time. I don't even think he came home because he had a returning home issue.
Wow.
Okay. I literally I was in a relationship with a Jody. You seen Baby Boy? I literally was Taraji, okay? Straight up. That was my life. And so he did that and I just went in his phone one day and she had these pictures. She had sent him like licking her tongue out and was like, "Oh, I want to taste you."
Whoa.
Yeah, right? I remember it. It's when we had Nextels. Remember the Nextel walkie-talkie phone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is in 2005.
Wow,
and
that's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
in 2005 and 2006. And I just remember, I was like, damn, this woman was in my house. We had hung out. She came portraying like she was this friend.
Yeah.
But the kicker is, she was engaged.
To him.
To somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah, so she was engaged. So I had called her one day, all those years ago. I called her and confronted her about it. And she was like, "Oh, we didn't do anything." And he just lied. He told her that my mom had kicked me out and that I was living with him. that was his house, which was totally false.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? This is my house. Like, my name on the lease. What are you talking about? Like, so we went through that. And then I had told her then that, I can curse.
You free.
I told her then, when I catch you, I'm going to beat your ass.
Oh.
I told her, I don't know when, but I'm going to do it. I owed you an ass whipping. Right? So then fast forward, I don't know what happened with them after that. Me and him continued our relationship. She got married. She ended up having children with her husband. Mm-hmm. So here we are 9 years later. So 9 years later, while me and him are together and he wanted to, we were working on a relationship and things like that. I was like, okay. He was telling me that he was going to be available. And I would just happen to be over his house one day. And he used to have a problem because he used to go back and forth between. So I stayed with him. Mm-hmm. He cheated and made 2 children.
Whoa.
Yeah. But that ain't got nothing to do with this story. You know what I'm saying? But he used to go back and forth between me and his son's mother a lot. Uh-huh. Which ended up was the son that he was telling me wasn't his. Uh-huh. But whole time it was his son. Like, it's just crazy, right? Wow. So yeah, I got stories. Uh-huh. And so with that, I ended up calling her, went to his phone, and I saw that he was still, at that time, he was still messing with the baby mother because his baby mother had moved to Philly because that's where she was from. He was still messing with the baby mother. He was messing with a whole bunch of other chicks. But I came across this girl, and I was like, oh my God, you are really dealing with this girl now. So it was a whole 9-year flashback. Uh-huh. And I was like, here we are 9 years later, and it came circling back. And he was dealing with her. And so I ended up reaching out to her, me and my homegirl. I reached out to her, cursed her out. It wasn't a pleasant conversation. Just because, honestly, I can elaborate on it now. And I wouldn't dare do that now. Yeah. But just back then, it's just like, I feel like, some advice for the ladies and gentlemen. If you are choosing to be a cheater, don't go and let this man introduce you to this woman. And vice versa. Don't try to befriend this woman. Don't show up. Like, that is a recipe for disaster. And that's simply what it was. So I found out, I've located her husband, told her husband. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't play. If I'm going to be upset, we all going to be upset. So I had told her husband. He had no clue, but I also felt sorry for him because he felt the same way I did because she pitched my daughter's father as her friend. Now, the thing is, she was bold. She would talk on the phone to him in front of her husband. Like, that was just her friend. See, he knew he couldn't do that. Whoa. With me. But this was all that I learned from her husband. He was like, are you sure? And at that time they were having issues. And he was like, no wonder why I keep trying to go to therapy with her. She was turning down counseling. She didn't want to go to therapy. Are you sure? He was just so in disbelief because she pitched him to be the friend. Wow. And I had learned that our kids had been together. Whoa. Like, it was a lot that I did not know. And so I called, but what she did was, I was a cop. What she did was, she called my job and she filed a complaint. Oh. She called my job and filed a complaint. It got a little crazy. He let her. That's what pissed me off. But I've learned that a liar, and just when people are in desperate situations, they will do things and won't even think about it. Wow. But he was so angry. He knew she called the job and didn't call me. He called my mother and told my mom, like, Candice called that girl and told her husband. My mama didn't know what was going on and was like, and then he called me like, I hope you lose your job. I ended up losing my job maybe like 4 or 5 years later. Wow. But it was like all wrong with how I did about it. Like, the job didn't do any investigation. She had the same phone number since I was a teenager. So they assumed that I had gotten her information from the system. Like, they just didn't do any research. You know what I mean? They didn't do any research and to find out anything. And then during my hearing, my coworker actually got on the stand and lied, told a bold-faced lie on me. Wow. Somebody I never talked to, never had a rapport of any kind. And it just basically was one of those situations where the odds were against me. Wow. They were against me. And I could have kept my job if I would have slept with someone. That was also a thing. Whoa. Yeah. Really? Yeah. And that's why it's like that. I don't see how these girls be out here sleeping with people for Birkins and Gucci bags and some money. Like, I just couldn't do it. And I had been there nine and a half years. So where it is now, next year I would have been able to retire. But I was propositioned because they had filed the charges. They all had just got dismissed. She ended up not even I got fired, and she didn't even come to court. She didn't even show up to the hearing. He didn't even show up. So it was like, I really shouldn't have lost my job, but I had a black attorney and he wasn't too liked, but it was just so many factors that went into it that they didn't do that. The police department didn't do their job.
Wow.
I wasn't on the good old girl list, the good old boy list, because it's real click based there. But I was propositioned by a commander at the time that could have changed everything. And he was like, and I was like, okay.
You got to do something?
And never called him.
Whoa.
And about 4 months later, I lost my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry about that experience.
Don't be sorry.
But whoa.
That was the best. That ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Was me getting fired.
So still on that one moment, did that change your perspective about guys? Just that whole scenario?
No.
Like guys are cheaters or?
No. People do what they want to do. You know what I mean? It didn't change my perspective about anything. If anything, it just gave me it didn't change anything because I didn't feel like that. Because what I felt like was love can conquer all. And I can change this man.
Oh.
We all feel like that. Like, I could change this person, or I can just love this person so much that eventually by me staying and dealing and accepting this bullshit that they're giving me, this ride or die concept after you done died 100 times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, he will recognize and say, hey, I want to be with you and we're going to make it work. That was that mindset that I had then, where it was, my mom used to say, men ain't shit. And so in actuality, for me, what that did, it made me want to prove her wrong.
Oh.
So I stayed with somebody I should have left.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's tough. But I want to say this, like, if a man does not change to get you, he's never going to change to keep you.
Well,
there's 1% chance that he's going to change to keep you.
Well, people don't change until they want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And people don't change until they're ready. And, with that, people will say, well, I did it. If you notice, people who usually do cheat, they'll say they did it because you did something, or you're lacking something, or they were missing something, when ultimately, if you sit still long enough, that's not why you did it. You did it because you wanted to do it, and you're just using whatever it is as an excuse to justify your actions. But you didn't do it because I didn't freaking cook dinner 3 days in a row, or because you couldn't get sex this week. You did it because cheating is a character flaw. It's a defect. You are dishonest. You lack integrity. You don't have any morals. You don't have a conscience. So, that's why you did it, because you're selfish. That whole, I lied to you to protect your feelings and stuff like that. All of that, all of those are dysfunctional statements that people use to their benefit.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this. Would you prefer a guy cheats and then he just tells you, or you want to find out yourself?
What you mean?
Like if you, let's just assume you're in a relationship now.
Oh, okay.
And your boyfriend cheats on you.
Oh, okay.
Will you want him to admit that, he cheated on you, or you want to find out yourself?
All the above. All the above. All the above.
Why?
Because I know some women that say that they don't go looking for their own hurt. But it's just because you don't want to be woken up out of the dream and the reality of what you think something is. But tell me, well now I don't deal with cheaters. So I did deal with someone and he did that and I let him go. I don't deal with cheaters.
So if you're in a relationship right now, and we're just saying hypothetically, and your boyfriend happens to cheat on you,
that'll be the end of the relationship.
And then he admits to you that he's wrong and say, "Baby, I want to change. I want to like walk out of this situation right now and be a better man." What are you gonna do? Are you gonna be like, "No, I don't believe you," and that's it?
I've done it.
You've done it.
I've done it.
And how was that? How was it?
Life is great for me. I don't know how it is for them.
Oh.
I'm not one of those practice what I preach or do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I actually do it. Yeah. So, if anything, You only can know if something works if you do it, right? So, no, I don't have to deal with anything that you don't have to deal with from me. You know, because the one thing I think, you know, men teach us a lot. You know, you guys, there's a lot of things that y'all won't deal with that we deal with, as such as, and I've learned that with my platform itself, where it's like women deal with the cheating. You know, we deal with the men making the babies. You know, a man, you can't make no baby. He ain't coming in the house to raise this man kid. You know what I mean? Men, then they try to say, well, men are territorial, so women aren't. You know what I mean? So it's just like, well, I can't even imagine another woman or another man going in and out of you and sleeping with you. But I'm supposed to be okay with imagining another woman sleeping with you. You get it? You get what I'm saying? It's all those things that we do. So I think that women, you know, really need to start taking pages out of men's handbook, because they tell you the stuff that you accept and he ain't gonna accept if you do it. You want to go and find out the hard way. Why do you think that most of the time that, you know, I hate the cheat retaliators? Oh, I did it because you did it. So because of what he did or what someone chose to do to you, you chose to alter your character. You either are something or you're not.
Wow.
But I'm not going to change who I am just because you did something. No, I'm just going to remove myself and give it to somebody else. So that's where I am now. I had to grow to that point and stuff like that, and get rid of a lot of the trauma and stuff like that, and really grow and learn self. But yeah, you cheat. Don't do to me what I'm not going to do to you. And I know that it's true, because if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm not a cheater. So I know that non-cheaters exist. I'm one of them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that every man cheats. I just think that if you feel like every man cheats, then that means that most of the men that you've been with cheated.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, no. So if I catch you cheating, find you cheating, That's it. That's it. And that's it. And then a lot of times, you know, I know it's hard and we can't walk away a lot of times right away. But what I also do is, while I'm in it, I'm disconnecting. So if I'm not able to leave you today, I've already started the process to disconnect from you while I'm with you. Because one day it's going to be, and it ain't going to take years.
Yeah.
You understand? Because the way I be praying and God shows up, you know what I'm saying? For these prayers, I'm going to get you up out of here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that's really what it is. Side note, I'm gifted. So a lot of the times when something isn't right, I dream it. And I've seen it. So I know, and then my body reacts too. Like, you got to know yourself. I know when my partner slept with somebody else, because my body reacts. And I'm not talking about an STD. You know what I'm saying? My body is going to tell me what you done before you've done it. And just because I know who I am, and I know, first importantly, and I also know whom I belong to, just the man upstairs, and trusting that discernment and that intuition, he gave it to me. You know what I mean? So if you ain't right, people often say, well, how do I know if my partner cheating? Because you're thinking it. Because you're thinking it.
Wow.
That's how you know.
And I want to say this, because some ladies think guys cheat more than ladies. Ladies think
They're stupid.
and vice versa. Who, in your opinion, who cheats more? Is it the ladies or the guys?
Oh, so if I have to play into this,
Yeah.
I feel like it's equal. But if you want me to pick a side,
Yeah.
Men. I would say men.
Do you know why? Because it's easy. Guys are not complicated. It's easy to figure a guy out. But if a lady cheats, sometimes it's tough to find out.
Well, a lot of men lack discipline. You know what I mean? A lot of them lack discipline, and hence as to why they have multiple children, multiple, women, But if you ask me, I feel like people who cheat have a mental disorder.
Whoa. Why do you say that?
And I've said this on my show before.
Why do you say that, though? Because that's an interesting take.
To me, there has to be a mental illness of some kind, because you could come home to me and you're Ben with me, right? You're Ben. We're Benny Ben. We're this way. And I'm getting the full you, right? Uncut. Then you go over here with Sheila. Sheila's getting another side of you.
Oh.
Sheila's not getting this attitude. Sheila is getting all laugh and joy, which is making you think that home is getting on your nerves.
Oh.
So in order to be able to juggle multiple people and cut off feelings at certain points when dealing with multiple women, because you have people who can do it, you have to have be schizo, bipolar, or something to be able to be this person, a different person with different people.
Yeah.
So that has to me, I'm gonna figure out, we're gonna do a study on this. To me, there has to be a chemical imbalance somewhere. Okay, I'm serious. Yeah. Because when but if I say that for fun, but if you really look at it, right, with people who've cheated or maybe those watching, or, I don't know about you yourself, but it takes a lot. You become a different person. It takes time to come up with lies. So now you're thinking about different ways and not even knowing you're being deceitful. So you have to make sure all your stories matches. Some people even go as far as getting their friends in on it. Like, you are a psycho. To me, it takes too much power to lie.
Yeah.
And that is what you choose to give your energy to?
That's crazy. First of all, I don't cheat.
Good.
Let me just clear that out. It's not like, oh, this guy might be one.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even if that may not be it, there has to be a disconnect of something. But most importantly, the first thing when it comes to cheaters is, the lack of self-love. You don't love yourself.
That's true.
That's why you're doing it. You don't even think you're good enough to be with one woman. You spreading yourself thin.
Yeah.
Like, so you have no value.
And no standard.
None.
Yeah, that's messed up. Now let's go to the talk show.
Okay.
So what made you start the talk show? When you started the talk show, were they like, oh, this is what I want to get to? Or did you have like any aspiration? Like, no. I want to have the best talk show in the world, or this, blah, blah, blah.
No, I just want to be great. Be in the room, be known as one of the greats.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I started off on Snapchat and doing little snippets with my nephew. So it really was a way for me to be able to connect with my nephew, because he didn't live with me. My nephew, shout outs to him. We grew up together. I was everybody like, he's my best friend.
Wow.
But I wanted to stay connected with him. So I started doing it. And then what happened is I started, my mentor started teaching me about the laws of attraction and what to do and how to do it. And, just a lot, and teaching me a lot about God.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So I started listening and doing the different things that we would do. And I started seeing like so much improvement in my life. And I was like, people need to know about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I need to tell people about this stuff. Yeah. So that's how it started. And then I started just speaking about, the law of attraction, being better, how you can apply it in friendships and different things like that. And I remember my life coach, in the beginning, I was so hard because I was like, I don't know if anybody's listening. Nobody's paying attention, because I also have a Facebook group. So my talk show also has a group where we have an open form of different things you could talk about. Candy Quarter Secrets Facebook group, right? Yeah. So I was like, yeah. And she saw that I was being a little hard on myself. And this was like a couple months in. And she was like, hey, listen, because she was very business savvy. She had a bunch of businesses. So she said, you have to know your audience. And right now, the audience that you have that follow you, like, not they're lost, but they don't know nothing. You know what I mean? So she's like, I understand. I remember it like yesterday. I understand you want to do your Ion, let's save people's lives thing, but that's not where your audience is. You have to do what you need to do, get people, grab their attention, get them, and then once you get your core people, they'll follow you wherever you go. And as you grow, your audience is going to grow with you. You may lose some, but you'll gain some as you're doing it. So just keep doing it. And so that's when I started being raw and uncut and doing Freaky Fridays. We on his set playing with dildos and just, yeah. The first season of Candy Coated was off the chain. So, stuff like that. And that's how I got into it. And then it was just like having a platform to share my experiences, because Candy Coated Secrets is a platform, where people talk about real life events. It was like, I don't care to know what Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, and them are going through. I want to know what you going through.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's really here? Because a lot of the times people show us, the glitz and the glam side of success. No one lets you see the real, raw, uncut. So I also, on my channel, I show that too. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of bloopers. I do my shows and you get that emotion when you're doing my show. If I'm having a bad day, I'm coming here and telling y'all I'm having a bad day. Wow. Or if I didn't follow what I always say, I'm like, listen, I couldn't find my num yo holding all today. I'm ready to act a donkey, you know?
Wow.
So that's what it is. It's just being true to who I am. And it's been working for me.
Wow. That's really great. You said that. You know, sometimes you just got to be real in life.
Yeah.
And so today, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't think there are real people in this world today because they're faking it."
Yeah.
And when you fake it, you're gonna meet your match.
Yeah.
And you're always going to meet all the fake people. So I'm glad you're real and you.
I meet fake people a lot. I meet fake people a lot.
Yeah, even if you meet fake people, you're gonna still meet real people if you're a real person. Yeah. And that's a plus too. So I really appreciate you. And what are some of the challenges you face doing a talk show?
Well, we're gonna go back then, because now I'm a completely different person. I'm in a whole different mind space.
Yeah.
The challenge that I faced was I'm my hardest critic. I'm so hard on myself, and I just feel like as creatives, period, people, singers, writers, actresses, actors, we are usually harder. Well, actually, studies have shown that we are harder on ourselves than the average person. So one of the challenges that I faced was being able to identify authentic people that wanted to like work with me. That was one. In the beginning, I was being used a lot, you know, to go on people platform, and then they would feel away, you know. I guess my light would shine brighter than theirs, but I'm simply just being me. So I dealt with that. The other thing that I dealt with too is I talk about stuff that has substance for you to grow, learn, and things like that. My goal is to offer people a different perspective. So some of the challenges are coming up against those people who can't see past what they know. You know what I'm saying? So it would be like, well, in the beginning, I would say, well, I don't want to talk about this or go too deep because, you know, you got to know your audience. And I'm like, they not there yet. Because what happened too is like in the group, I would see what caught their attention. And a lot of the times it's like foolishness that catches their attention. And I'm like, you know, it's already a bunch of negativity out here. I choose to be positive. And just the viewership, you know, not being, you know, feeling like people weren't watching. Like I said, feeling like people weren't watching it. Just, I would say the challenges was me just being hard on me. Yeah, it was just me being really, really hard on myself, not embracing the journey, not being grateful, you know, not showing gratitude for how far I've come to where I am now versus now. This is my 6th year. I've been doing it for 6 years. And now I show up and I don't even care. I'm just doing it because I think at a point, I don't want to say I fell out of love with it, but I was asked one day, you know, Candy, do you still love doing your show? And I was like, nobody asked me that. Because when I'm on the other side of the mic, I'm asking all the questions. So, you know, I don't really get asked anything, right? So I was like, that's a good question. And I was like, I've always loved it. But what happened was, when my cousin passed away in the beginning of 2023, which was unexpected, when I did the show, she would teach, we would do these things together and talk, and I would go over my ideas. She was like my human journal. So losing her, it made me have to find my way myself. Not saying that I didn't, you know, have it myself, because I did the legwork and all of this. It's just like, you know, losing that person. You know what I mean? That you started something. She was my biggest fan. So I lost my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader, and just was like, oh, I did it for 5 years. Let's hang it up. Or I'll come back and I'll do it. But when I was asked, you know, what was it? And I was like, okay, do you still love it? Do you love it? Because when I talk about it, I light up. So I know I love it. I feel it. I really love it. But it was just trying to see if I was going to still love it after she's passed away. And I did it. I came back. I did my end of the year show for 2023, and I've been back ever since. So now I don't care who watches and who doesn't. I don't care who shares it and who doesn't. I don't care who donates and who's not. I don't care who engages and who's not engaging, because I'm simply just showing up to do it because I love it. So it was like God told me, all I need you to do is this season is just show up and let me do the rest.
Wow.
So that's what I'm doing. This is my be practicing my faith season.
Wow, that's great. First of all, I want to say you have a very interesting personality.
Thank
Like
you.
I was just you light the room, bro, girl. You're on fire.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no one like you. I won't even lie. You know,
Thank
you
you.
just come and you just like, oh, you just taking everything under control. And you just like, Oh, so that's a plus, you know.
Thank you.
And I can just imagine how your audience feel when they watch or listen to you talk.
Yeah.
They can feel the connection. You know, it's rare to have this kind of energy. You know, these days people just want to fake the real self just to belong to a community or belong to a certain group of people. You know, sometimes you just got to be yourself.
Yeah.
And who knows?
It's
where gonna
it's
take
free
you
to be you. Everybody else is taken.
Yeah, that's true.
You
So
know?
just be you.
Just be you.
Enjoy the moment. Just be like Candice. No, be yourself.
No, yeah, 'cause you can't be me, John.
Yeah, be yourself, and you're gonna enjoy it. You know, so I really like you for being real. You know, that's really good thing. And being in our own culture, you're gonna realize that a lot of people are fake. I want to be like a rapper. I want to dress like how they do. I want to put on Nike clothes, put on the latest shoes,
Yeah.
put on the latest design, the
Yeah.
chains, the wristwatch. And at times you don't really know who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's where your self-worth comes from.
Yeah.
And it comes from those chains, those jewelries and stuff like that. And without it, you can't even be you.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And that's why you're going to see stuff like guys cheating because they don't really know who they are. First of all.
Yeah.
And when the moment they lose the chain, they're like, oh, I don't know myself.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they find themselves in a situation or environment where they really did not imagine or envision that.
Yeah.
And they're like banging, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, girl, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is this, like the moment you know who you are, you know your what, and you really appreciate yourself, it's going to take you to another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that, oh, you're not going to be tempted or you're not going to have some temptations.
Yeah.
It's going to come.
Yeah.
It's going to come pouring out.
Absolutely.
And the moment you know that, oh, I love myself, I got high standard for myself,
Yeah.
you're going to figure out a way to overcome that.
Yeah.
But if you don't value yourself or have any like standard,
Yeah.
you would just be like, oh, this one come, I'm just going to take it. This one come, I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
Because you don't really value yourself. So self-worth, self-value is the most essential thing that you can ever do for your life.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you talking from your own experience. It's really touching because you had an experience as a young kid, 17 years old, having a daughter. That's really tough. Some people can't handle that. They're going to be like, oh, is my life coming to an end? Some people can even give birth to that kid and put on the street.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But caring for your daughter, having the affection and saying, oh, I want to make this kid grow up knowing that, oh, I really care about her well-being.
Yeah.
Despite having a job that is taking me left and right, and I'm not really there for her, I'm going to provide for her.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the provider. I know sometimes when they're growing up, they don't really see it that way.
Oh yeah.
They're just going to
She's
be like,
seeing it now though.
yeah. When she grows up, she's eventually going to know, like, oh, now I understand why my mom did that. She's going to see from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I really applaud you for that. It's really hard to go through that situation and come up a better person.
Yeah.
You know, some people are just going to go into drugs or do something negative just to get by or numb their emotion. So being a tough lady, I mean, you a voice, you special. I'm not saying this just to flatter you, but I'm saying that you don't got to let anything hold you back.
Yeah.
Just know, you already know that you have a voice. So you got to use that voice for the better good of our community and the world.
Yeah.
Because the world needs you. And it starts from today. And this platform, we're going to try up as much as possible to make sure a lot of people get to hear your voice because it's special. And I thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. People tell me that, but I don't. Sometimes it's hard to receive because I can't see what you see. You know what I'm saying? That's sometimes, that's something that we battle with as people too.
Yeah.
We can't see the greatness that's in us when somebody is telling us, hey, get this together. You should do this. I think you should do that. Stop doing that. We just take it as like people are trying to tell us what to do. But it's like, no, you don't know how that person sees you.
Yeah.
So, now that my daughter, she's older and she's experienced, she always says to me, she said, Ma, I don't know how you do it. You go to work full time, you go to work every day, and you still come home and work on your dream and your show. She's like, how do you do it? Because I don't know how. But I always say, God gets me through.
Yeah.
And has me do it a lot, and I'm very appreciative to that. You know, some dudes. Like on my platform, when we would go back and forth, they bite my head off when I say this one, I am the table. Have you seen that discussion going around the internet lately?
No, I haven't seen it.
So there's been like these whole things a few years where it's like, a woman saying she's the table. What do you bring to the table? Yeah. So it goes back to what you said, and it's like, yeah. I am the table. I didn't always feel like that. I didn't think that, just because of the things and choices I chose to make. But as you grow and you do the self work and you get into, who God really created all of us to be, and knowing that we are all equal, we just have to tap into and remember why we came here, because we are all, spiritual beings just having a human experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're just here having this human experience, and we allow these circumstances and difficulties and the pain and things that we've experienced to define us. And the thing is, I have to always know that, my situation and pain doesn't define who I am. I define me. So, my confidence is, self-confidence with self is definitely, I've always had that, just because of the simple fact that, now that I know who I am and what God said I can have and what I can do, you can't come to me and tell me I'm not a table. When the Bible says I am.
Wow.
So, ignorance is bliss. So, for me, when people say, well, what is that? We think of materialistic things. So when someone said, well, what do you mean you are the table? Well, I'm the table because mentally I'm together, physically I'm together, spiritually I'm together, and emotionally I'm together. And not only am I together, I can also be all those things for you. I'm going to be able to pick you up when you're down, when you're falling short, when you feel like the world is on your back. I'm going to lift it up off your back. I'm not going to, knock you down to your feet and make you feel less than. In a minute of the moment of a heated argument, people, we say nasty things to each other. Well, I had to learn that that's not okay. I'm not going to do that, because if I love you, why would I say something to hurt you? You have to protect your heart with all due diligence, because out of your heart are also the reflections of life. You are what you attract, so you're only getting some of these experiences and things that you're experiencing because that is what you are reflecting in the inside. So, a lot of us, we don't know that, or we're not paying attention to that. And if someone is telling us about it, we may think, they deem us crazy. But, once you go ahead and you take it to action, you can become and do anything that you want to be. So yeah, I'm Candice White, but I'm Candice White, the business owner, the life coach, the talk show host, things like that, the best-selling author, versus before. And I'm an artist. I dropped my single. So It's like, so it's like, not only, I woke up one day, I was Candice White, but now, when I leave here, I have a whole lot to leave behind.
Yeah.
Now, so.
Yeah, I really appreciate you for coming to the show again, like I'm saying. And how did you get to that point where you're like, oh, I know myself. I know what I'm capable of doing. I love myself. I have self-value. I have self-worth. How did you get to that point? Because a lot of people are struggling right now. They don't really know, I came to this world for a reason. I don't know what that reason is. How can I find it?
Yeah.
How can I know who I am? How can I know my gifts? How can I get my potential revealed? So people like dabbling with those questions, they don't really know how to figure it out. So how did you get to that point where you know your self-worth, self-value, and loving yourself?
So we all know it, but we just don't recognize it, right? Because when you know what you don't want, then that is a clear indication of what you do want. Whoa. So that's like the first step in laws of attraction, knowing what you do want versus knowing what you don't want. So I knew that, like I said, I lost my job, was going through those struggles. I was just angry, upset, couldn't understand why I was experiencing the things that I was experiencing. And I was like, there has to be more to life than struggle, chaos, pain, arguing with this dude all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how I'm going to pay this bill and that bill and, what we going to eat today. I was like, I wanted more. So it's until you get to that place of wanting more, because only you know what you feel like and what you look like broken. And I know what I look like broken. And if you have like a mentor or someone in your life that can tell you otherwise or show you, that anything is possible. For me, my mentor, life coach, my cousin, she showed me that. She showed me what it looked like when you have an idea and you want to do it. But before anything, she showed me what life looked like when you fully fully trust God with your whole heart in your life. And when you make any decision, you go to him before making it. When people wrong you and curse you and hurt you, you know, I never seen her get angry. I never seen her curse. I never seen her curse out anybody. You know, she would vent a lot about things people did to her. She never badmouthed. I was like, girl, what you want me to do? You want me to go cuss them out? Because I don't have a problem somebody messing with you. But she was like, no, I go to God. So, you know, first you have to know your worth and know what you do deserve. A lot of us don't know what we deserve because we've been accepting anything that somebody wants to give us. But I knew that I deserved an honest person. I deserve someone that has discipline. I deserve the best. You know, I deserve to have a life of peace and peace of mind. And once you find your peace of mind, you won't even allow anybody to disturb it. I don't even let my daughter, you know, disturb my peace at all. You know, it's like, oh, you know, if she's at my house and she comes to visit, if she's even on the phone with her boyfriend or with her friends and they're arguing, I'm like, yeah, so you got to go outside or you got to go. Because I don't do that in here.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't do that here. So it's stuff like that. You got to work on yourself. You know, first of all, you got to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, who am I? Who am I? And then ultimately, too, look at all the experiences and things that you've gone through thus far with your life. You know, we have a date that we're born and a date that we die. And people say, oh, that's all that matters. But we often forget about that dash in the middle. Like, how did you live your life? What did your life look like with that dash in the middle? So I challenge anybody who is, you know, wanting to be different and you're wanting more and you're just feeling like the world is on your shoulders and you don't like the situation and circumstances that you're in, and you don't know how to start. Well, ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered?
That's a powerful point.
You know, where at that time I was gonna be remembered as, you know, the girl fussing with her baby father all the time. You know what I mean? A single mom, went to high school, but I'm worrying about what this dude doing. You know what I mean? And I was like, when I had to sit back and really look at that, I was like, I don't want to be remembered like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be remembered that way. So now I have more accolades, you know, with it. And I changed my story. You know, you are the author of your life. You can change the page at any time.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. And you're so seasoned and you're full of wisdom. Oh, girl, I love that.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you for being a cause for good to our society.
Yeah.
Because we need that. Right now, we really need that.
Absolutely.
Especially in our community, the Black folks. We want something that's going to unite us.
Yeah.
Something that's going to make us separated and gossip. Oh, this person is bad. This person is bad. This person is bad.
Yeah.
We keep pointing fingers. At the long run, is it helping us? No. We just like having enemies left and right and thinking we're growing, but we're dying.
But that's because we have a victim mindset.
Yeah.
And I had to go from being a victim to being victorious.
Woo.
So I'm not a victim. When they say that, I am not a victim. You know, I've had moments where I may want to rant, and it's like, girl, you're being a victim today. Oh. But no, we have that victim mindset. We always want to. It's easier to pass the blame on to somebody else than for you to have to sit here and say, "Oh, I did this. Yep. I did this. You caused this. You could have done it differently." You know what I mean? So a lot of the times we just don't like the decisions and choices that we make. We rather blame it onto somebody else. Just like you were saying with the chains and stuff, you don't know who you are. I was just telling my mother the other night, I was like, you know, I called her, I was like, thank you. She's like, why? I was like, thank you for not raising me to be materialistic.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we could have got anything. We got everything we asked for. I remember she took me shoe shopping, and I've always been me, right? And she was like, well, what shoes you want? I picked out these shoes. They were just some cute blue and white shoes, but I didn't know in my community that they were Pro Wings. I didn't know. I'm a little kid, right? So I got teased for wearing these Pro Wings. But I kept wearing them. You know what I mean? So those challenges that I experienced in childhood, you know, because kids can be mean. Kids can be so mean. It developed who I am today. That's why you can't tell me who I am. You know, you can't tell me who I am. I've been there, dealt with that already. Yeah. If I would have listened to everything that people called me or what they said about me, I'd have been dead a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't have a show. You know, I wouldn't have embraced it. You know what I'm saying? You talked about my dark skin, but you got white women tanning to look like me. You know what I mean? So it's like, embrace those things. We have big noses or big lips, and now everybody getting lipo and injections to look like us. So it really is like, oh, we really are are beautiful people.
Yeah.
And I really wish, I can't wait until the time that we tap into really know, we are really beautiful and really powerful. And people really do look up to us.
Yeah.
But we're just so busy hating and killing each other. And then, you know, in our community, we feel like labels make us. So labels are a sign of we made it. The Gucci, the Louis, this, you know, the Bentleys, the bust downs, you know, everything is like, oh, for us it's a symbol of they made it. They made it. But when you think about it, you know, people put a glimpse of their lives on Instagram. You can have a conversation with some of them baddies and find out them bitches is just bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They sleeping on mattresses, you know, the credit messed up.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, everything is rented, nothing is paid for. He's in his homeboy car flexing.
Yeah.
This ain't his money. He got paid a big man, you know, things like that. So it's just like, that's why we aren't to be jealous and envious and look at anyone else's life and say, hey, I want this. You know, we aren't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? You could do anything for yourself because you can't even believe half the people nowadays, you don't even know the person you sleeping with.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to be with me today? You want a man tomorrow? You know, just the culture and the society that we're living in. So I was telling my mom, like, I'm glad you didn't make me materialistic because I'm not really a materialistic person. I've always been true to be me. If I want to put it on, I can put it on and I'm gonna look good. But I'm gonna look good in anything. I'm a t-shirt, sweatshirt kind of girl. You know what I mean? But when it's time for me to be a girly girl, oh, shorty is bad. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not my desire to be that all day. I don't walk around the house dressed up like this all day long. I'm able to be me and stuff like that. And ultimately too, if you think about it, and with the white culture, you know, I don't want to just say white culture, but that's what we see a lot, right? How often do you see them advertising their labels? How often do you see, a lot of the times they have on designer and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
You know, we're into like the Louis, and they may have on a whole nother designer that we have never even heard of. So it's like, I think that plays a part on me too, on top of my mom not raising me materialistic, but also with me knowing that just because you can't see it don't mean that I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it. So that's something that I chose to take out of their book too. It's like, look, they don't advertise it. People who truly have money don't talk about how much money they have.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. Like people who truly got it, they don't flex what they have.
Yeah.
They usually don't want anybody to know.
Yep.
Because you might try to rob me. You might be trying to set me up.
Yep.
You might be stealing from me. They don't usually want people to know. But when you feel like you want to let people know, you know, a lot of times people don't understand that is a form of validation.
You're broke.
And you broke.
Yeah.
You know, you broke.
Yep.
You know, or a man could leave you alone and you're going to lose your mind because you ain't even nothing without this man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or what they say, you got people that sponsor your life. Well, can you sponsor your life? You know, because you shouldn't be going out here asking a man to be able to do things for you that you can't even do for yourself. You know what I mean? Never. It's not even, that's why I say why I'm the table. Like, I don't deal with liabilities. I only accept assets.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? Once I get to see that, dude, you about to be a liability to me? Yeah, we gotta go. That's the end. You know, but I'm even like that with friendships. You know, I cut you off fast. But I'm like that. I don't accept liabilities because when you get with me, I'm an asset.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just because my work speaks for itself. The problem is I am who I am, and I've experienced people that wanted to date me because they were like, oh, she's on the internet, you know, let's see. And then when they get with me, they like, so many of them was like, oh, you really are like this.
Wow.
And I'm like, what did you think? But that's because so many people put up facades.
Yeah, they're fake.
And I'm like, no, this is me.
Yeah.
You either like it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? But stuff like that, yeah. So be true to you. There's nothing wrong with you. You know, God made all of us individually. We all have our own set of footprints. We all have different strands in our hair. We walk different, talk different. None of us look the same. We are not alike. So if you weren't created the same, why do you want to look like everybody else when you were already born to be different?
Wow. And you got to know everyone is unique. You're unique.
Yeah.
You're special. Like nobody have the same fingerprint.
Exactly.
Your fingerprint is different.
Exactly.
That means you're special. And you got to know that people don't really value themselves these days. They're just like, If this person can do it, this person is special.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true.
That's not true.
You can do it too.
And change is scary.
Yeah.
Change is scary. Change is I've experienced it. I still do. Oh my God, changing is a lonely road. You know, because as you grow, people either grow with you or they grow out of your experience.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd be like, damn, you were a good friend, but you were a good friend in this season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You were a good relationship in that moment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But just because it don't work with you, I always tell people, if you're going through a breakup and it's not working, love didn't stop with you. God didn't stop making love with you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep going out here. I always say I would rather be with 100 different men than to deal with the same crap from one man 100 times.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I mean that's just what it is. But it's you know, but I had to know that. I had to know that there was more to life than what I was experiencing. And just happened to know that a lot of times we like to keep people when we get interacted with them, we like to make everybody be in for a long time.
Yeah.
And everybody is not going to be in for a long time.
Just
you know
for
what I'm saying?
season.
So it's like this. I tell you, do your hands like this. Do your hands like this. Open it, close it. We have to be able to let people come. And when they come, you hold them. And when they're ready to go, you gotta let them go.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta let them go. And that was something that I had to learn, you know, that sometimes, you know, man's rejection is God protection. Because you never know what could be the reason in that. But what I started doing is anyone that I've encountered, friends, family, even people, coworkers and stuff like that, I always thank them for the experience that they gave because it's always about you. You know, I always say life is one big classroom and everybody that you meet comes along to teach you something. You know, in life, you get the test without the answers. You don't know how it's going to be, but everybody comes along because they're a reflection of you. So if you keep on, you know, dealing with deceitful people, or you just scamming your way through life, well, it may not be that same form of what you've done it, but eventually somebody gonna scam you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be getting scammed. And then you're like, you know, I don't wanna keep dealing with this stuff. So then clean up you. Because when you clean up you, I can honestly say that today, a lot of the things that I experienced prior to, I don't experience now. And you know, I always say, God doesn't need a lawyer, he just needs a witness.
Wow. This is good. Yeah.
I'm not going too deep for you.
No,
Okay.
you're good. This episode is good. I can feel it. Yeah, you're really amazing. And this one of the fastest episode, right? I just look at the time like, wow.
Oh, really?
The time is flying. Yeah.
Oh,
it's good.
wow.
So let's wrap up. I got 2 questions for you before we
Okay.
go. And the first question is, looking back, right? If there was one experience you could take away from all of your experiences in life, what would it be?
Ooh, this is a good question. If there were one experience that I could take away. Ooh, that's tricky because they made me who I am. But it would be not becoming a police officer
Why?
because it kept me from being able to be a mother, a present, active mother. It kept me away from my daughter a lot.
So you rather like trade that for the affection?
I would trade that. I would take that out and be a present mom that was able to make the dinner. And I worked on holidays, so we didn't decorate for
Wow.
Christmas. And even now to this day, I could take a holiday. But birthdays, I always was there for birthday. I always took off on birthdays. She always had like lavish birthday parties. She would even get 2 and 3 cakes, have 2 and 3 or 4 parties. You know, so she got everything I did. But I wouldn't be a cop because it kept me from being able to be a mom.
Wow, that's great that you really want to be a great mom. That's impressive. I love that. Thank you very much for giving us that answer. And the last question is this. If you were to give an advice to your 17-year-old self, what would it be?
I think I did that the whole episode, okay? It would just be that you are beautiful. You are worthy.
Yep.
You deserve everything. Don't allow the pain to define you. You are stronger than you thought. and you were here for a reason. And now that I'm in my present self, I'm able to see you and let you know that you were okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful right there.
And leave that man alone, child. That's the first one. Drop that baby daddy. Don't have that baby. Don't have that baby. But
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be that. It would be all of those things and leave him.
Wow.
You shouldn't have waited so long to leave him.
Yeah. Don't cling on for long. Yeah.
No. Because I often be like, I wish I would have started Candy Coated Secrets then to see where it would be, now.
Today, yeah.
But I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
I'm so glad. Thank you for coming to the show. Is there anything you want to say to my audience before I end the show?
You guys tune in. Make sure you like and subscribe to his channel. He has some dope conversations. I love what you're doing. I love that you're choosing to be positivity. I always say continue to be, for you and your audience, be the change in the world that you want to see. You only can change you. Don't worry about the things that you can't change. Only worry about the things that you can change. And make sure you follow, like, and subscribe me, Candy Coated Secrets, Candy with an I, not with a Y, on all platforms if you want more of me.
Yeah. And Will, thank you for coming to the show today. It was a pleasure. Oh, my God.
Yes.
This episode is going to go
Viral!
I love that. You said it. We'll see. Oh,
Gotta speak it into existence.
I
Okay?
love that. Thank you very much for coming to the show. Hey, guys, there you have it. Today was a great episode, and I love every second of it. And it was awesome. I thank her for coming today. She exploded, and she gave a lot of fun. It was entertaining, it was funny, and you enjoyed it. So please do us a favor. Like and share these episodes with your loved ones and friends. Let them hear and enjoy this episode. Don't be selfish, guys. Please. And remember, we drop an episode every Wednesday. So when you come into the Benrolins Blueprint podcast channel, you're going to have a new episode on Wednesday. Please tune in. And if you're not subscribed, just tune in and subscribe. Thank you very much. It's going to go a long way. See you. This episode comes to an end. Benrolins Blueprint. See you in the next episode.